eventually whatever you see in construction is as a reflection of the supervision that has gone into it.
Wow, I like that.
Yes.
Say that again.
Yeah, whatever you see in as an outcome in construction is a direct reflection of the supervision that has gone into it.
Right.
And that is the quality control.
Okay.
Ensuring that if this guy's been assigned to give me a curve, he doesn't give me a wobbly curve. He doesn't give me a dancing curve. He gives me a curve.
Okay.
If he has to do it as a flat surface, it must be tidy, smooth, and flat.
Right.
You know, the whole point is this: any building would probably outlive the builder, and so the detailing that goes with it must be carefully done.
Yeah.
And that is why the labor force, their skill and their work is very important when it comes to real estate.
I remember the other day I asked the question regarding how long a building is supposed to last, given that everything is done right. And you mentioned over 100 years.
Over 100 years, if it is done well.
Okay.
I mean, of course, buildings like human beings will require maintenance as well. But the frame and structure and its integrity and ability to withstand the various elements of the external forces should be unquestioned, because all of those things would have played into the design.
Right.
You know, and once that has been done properly, then its lifespan is that long.
It's guaranteed.
Yes,
Perfect.
exactly.
People probably look out for just the nearest mason, you know, oh, I need a mason to do this for me. Can you just find somebody, without really understanding the person's skill level? So chances are that most people just bring onto the project just anybody, you know. Unfortunately, in Ghana, we don't have a very good certification system. So if you ask a mason for some certificate to show that indeed he's a qualified mason, he's been certified, so on, you probably won't get it.
Yeah.
So it's critical, you know, to find the right artisan, you know, and again, your professional will help because they've worked in the industry for years, they have experience, they know who they can rely on. Ideally, it's best to bring on board a contractor, you know, because then he has the skill level, it's been registered, certified, has the skill level to execute the work, you know, to the very finest detail that you would want to accomplish. So it's important. Otherwise, you pay for it in poor workmanship, poor quality work. Your walls are crooked, they are not straight, you know, the concrete or cement mix isn't the right mix, and then you pay for it simply because you didn't choose the right artisan.
Right.
Once you have your materials, you have your professionals, the next critical thing would be those who put it together. Shoddy works could be a combination of poor workmanship, poor quality of work, not following procedure, because there are procedures in construction. There are timelines you need to adhere to. So once you violate any of these things, it can lead to shoddy works. There are instances where people have done what we call shattering. Shattering is any kind of support system you put in place to hold, say, concrete. Right. All right. They've done shattering, and because of the weight of concrete in itself, you expect that shattering itself would be very well done, well braced, and things like that. But on a very good, well orchestrated construction site, you even have shattering engineers whose work is to ensure that the way the support systems, these are temporary support systems, but they play a very critical role in ensuring that the materials that is going up there is okay and can hold. So when it comes to shoddy works, a lot of things account for it. You're either looking at following quality standards and specifications, you're looking at the kind of workmanship that has been engaged in the work itself, or the materials that have been used. So shoddy work in itself can be a combination of all of these things coming together.
Okay. So how then do you check on that?
So for every project, you would have to have a certain hierarchy. All right, that's the word. A certain hierarchy of workforce. Right. At the very top of it, you could have an overall project manager. You could have a contracts manager. You could have the supervising engineers, the supervising architects, the quantity surveyors, and all of them. Then it comes to on the ground direct supervision, which are the foremen, the senior foremen. Then it comes to headmen, the head artisans, the head workforce, and then it trickles down to then the actual artisans, masons, carpenters, steel bender, those people. And then you also come down to labor, ordinary laborers, unskilled labor. So in the labor bracket itself, you have the skilled labor and then unskilled labor. And all of these people work together to ensure that whatever you're doing is of good integrity.
Right. Kwabena, are there risk involved in engaging just any artisan for your work after putting in your beautiful design?
Yes, I think that's the obvious choice.
Right.
I know reality sometimes is a little different because
let's not talk about quality control when it comes to construction. What does it really mean at that stage?
Yes, I mean, quality is everything when it comes to the build industry. Right. There should be quality in design, quality in specifications, quality in the construction, quality of personnel, quality of materials, and quality in everything. So the quality control is to ensure that at every phase of the process, you are making sure things are done the right way and by the right people. So generally, that's quality in total effect. But if you want us to look at it more specifically to the works and the labor force that is engaged on site, you know, artisans come in different grades. Right. Just as materials also come in different grades. Every mason has his level. Okay. It's not just any mason that does everything. But unfortunately, most people presume that once you are a mason, you are capable of doing any and everything. But that is not true. There are masons who are just good at laying the bricks or the blocks, and they are okay. I mean, they are not the finishing masons who you could engage to do plastering and dressing works. Every detail is important. Flat must be flat, straight must be straight, curve must be curve, angular must be angular. And you do not have to bend in any of these ones. So if you're supposed to give me a flat surface, it ought to be that flat, that smooth and flat. If it ought to be curved, the curvature must be very neatly done, you know. So again, we do not use the same because of the skill levels of the different artisans. Different people we have used over time to know their skill level and what they can do. The kind of attention one needs to pay in doing a particular area of the work would be different. So in detailing out, we have to be cautious and careful who does what. My advice normally would be that for people who are attempting to do these things by themselves, do not just use anybody, to do it. You will need to ensure quality control by putting in the right supervision staff.
Where can I find quality artisans for my work? I'll take your thoughts on that, and I'll take Kwabena's as well.
Like Kwabena mentioned earlier, the certification system here is not that perfected. I know some of them go through NVTI, some attain technical and vocational training and things like that. But usually contractors, developers, over the years have nurtured their own skilled workforce. And so for an ordinary person just wanting to walk on the street and be able to pick up the different kinds of skilled artisans to work with, it may not be that simple or easy.
We can guarantee you, good quality. We've worked with various teams of artisans, and we know their skill output and their work output, and you should always talk to us.
.com. Give us a call as well, and we will definitely help you sort your real estate needs out. My name is Efia Fusua. We wrap up at this point. We are back same time next week with another Power Packed edition.